So I'm going to do a multiple series on deck failure. Okay. The deck you see behind me is actually the bedroom deck, and the way it was put in was kind of really funky. You can actually tell, and I'm gonna flip this camera around, but like how this is, okay, doesn't make sense to me whatsoever. I've been looking at it for a while, but I had all the projects in the backyard that I wanted to put together, and this is one of them that kind of caught my attention, and you can actually see it on both sides. Okay, so again, going back to the post, this is not safe at all whatsoever. Okay, I think I've talked about that before. You get the lateral forces, and you can actually knock the beam out. Now, what I saw underneath, because I kept on digging and finally finding out that what they did was use a cinder block, filled it with concrete, and it's actually pretty deep down in there, and then rested the post on top, and there you have it. Problem I see with that is the wood already is rotting away. Okay, I mean, you can tell just by looking at it how it actually starts to taper down, and then obviously there's a chunk there missing of the wood, and it's very easy to pick away at it. I mean, that's not good. I don't know how long this deck has been here. The house is built back in '85, so I would presume that it was done around that time, because the wood looks fairly old. So my plan right now is I already dug the post foundations, the footings, what have you. It did go down to close to 36 inches, and use a 4x4 on this foundation, as well as that over there, and then stretch a beam across. Now, typically, okay, so this is a 2x10. I'm sorry, 2x8. So, I mean, I'm going to use another 2x8 going across. They have nothing but 2x6s, and I was able to find a place that have 2x8s, preferably, just because if the top part of the deck is that big, I'm not going to use a tiny support like a 2x6. I've seen people using 2x4s as a beam going across, and yeah, you just have to question, what these people are thinking. So hopefully that would suffice. And then obviously I'm going to get rid of these posts there. Now, if you go underneath the deck, I already started putting these brackets up. Again, this is built for a 2x6 joist hanger. Unfortunately, they didn't have them at the store. The whole coronavirus thing, I guess, lack of wood, lack of hangers. I don't know what's going on. So, but this is accepted. Okay, so I'm using a 2x6. Also good for a 2x8. Again, after putting these in, because this didn't have it before, these joists didn't have them before, so now I'm nailing them in. Again, using the appropriate screws, 16D, 10D, okay, what have you. But, that would be very helpful if I'm supporting the deck on this beam going across, okay? But that's, I think I went probably overkill, because I saw that. I know that usually you have to use them, but I guess what I'm using now is, you can see the green string that's going across. That's where the beam is going to be, so the deck can rest on it. Okay, so I do have fast drying cement, and I do plan on placing some rebar in the mold, so it just gives it more strength. I want to make sure that your cement's almost like a thick pancake batter, or I've heard places where they say that it kind of looks like peanut butter. So this is pretty good. So I'm going to start filling in the mold. While the concrete is still wet, I was able to get the rebar in there. It was a little hard at first because, it's quick setting, but I was able to manage. What I do next, because I have access, I just tap on the side, and you can actually see the bubbles coming up. I know there's probably more in the bottom of the form, but oh well. At least this is the one that's going to be exposed a little bit, get a little bit more solid. But I think all in all, it should be pretty strong. So. Examining these nails here that they use, I actually put these in. Okay, you can tell the difference because the other ones are rusted. Some of them were loose, so I pulled it out, and it looks like they used roofing nails. Oh my god, idiots. So now I gotta pull everything out, the ones that don't look like they should be there, which is a majority of them, especially the ones that are rusted. Pull them out, stick them, and place the appropriate nail in there. This deck is like so unsafe. So, not happy. Huge difference, right? The flat nail, which is fairly flat. This is actually a roofing nail. I know because I've stepped on, I stepped on 2 of these barefoot after a roof was done. This is what you're supposed to use. Okay, this is what ties into this, the Simpson ties, for the joist hangers, everything. Okay, so. You guys building a deck, make sure you use the right nail, because over time, this is what happens. Now, I'm fortunate that it's still intact. I had some nails in the past, knock on wood, nothing today, where I would try pulling it out and the head would just pop right off, and so the nail's still in there. So far, so good. So one by one, replacing each one of these things. So what I did here was I was able to jack up the deck with 2x4s and 2x6, and now the legs on both sides are actually, you can wobble them, just in the event. I'm still going to keep the legs on here as a secondary support, but you can tell, let me see, so you know, just me moving it back and forth, and that shouldn't be wobbling, you know, like that, but that's how I know that I was able to raise it up. I did raise it up about maybe half a centimeter. So now I'm going to construct the beams and the new posts that are going to go right behind it. So the primary support now is the 2 pieces of wood that I placed in, and the secondary support, in the event one of them fail, it'll land right back down where it was once. So, and to show that how much I brought it up, this measured from the post to be 52 inches. Now it's got just a little bit more than that, so that's good. First beam on, and I had to hold it in place because I'm the only one working on here. So I'm going to place this Simpson tie here, and then once I get the other beam on, I'll place it out there too. But this is basically just to stabilize it. So it's not moving around too much. This is already plumb, as well as that end over there. Okay, so this is what I have so far. I was able to get both beams on there. I have to lag them together, okay? But for now, I just use just the wood screws, just for now. That's just a temporary fix. This was a bitch to put up, okay? But if you actually step back, you can actually see this is actually plumb. This one is leaning away from the house, and I don't see the deck separating from the house at all. So I think that's basically how they left it over time. And plus, this is the post that was actually twisting on itself. So. Afterwards, what I did was place these knee braces on, so it will actually keep the deck stable. I wanted to go much higher on this end. I mean, I still have a big chunk of wood here, so it should be fine. But then the tie would get in the way. So, and then you see space right between the wood and the bracket and the joist up top. That's how high the deck I raised. So once I knock out the supporting posts and then take off the beams, everything should drop to right where it should be. So the next thing I'm going to do now is get a Sawzall and chop down the old legs. I jacked up the deck, and you can tell right there, you can see there are 2 nails. There you have your lateral support from the old legs. So anyway, let's get the legs down, the old legs down. What I'm going to do is I'm actually going to cut it a little bit higher. Initially it was going to go down here, but and then just cover it with dirt. But I think what I want to do is go higher so I have a little bit of leverage to rock this out. I mean, it's already movable as it is. It's kind of hard to tell with the camera. All right. There you go. Jesus. So as you can tell, that's what they use to keep the post down. Horrible job. Jesus Christ. And there you go. There's the 2 nails holding up the rest of the deck. Okay, so the same thing here. I'm going to actually use a circular saw this time. That one took a little while with a saw, and that's with a new blade. So again, halfway through, and then use the Sawzall to do the rest. And also this part here is also wobbling. Now keep in mind, before I cut this, I made sure all the new post beams, the posts and the beam are plumb, okay? And again, the same thing. You can see where the wood is already rotting out. I showed you on top before I took the post out. And there you go, 1 nail. 1 nail to keep this down. There may have been 2. Yeah, there was a second one. So it looks like they toe nailed it back into the ground. Not entirely, if you can look at it there. Then they bent the nail back. So, oh, okay. So we're making sure that everything's secure. Now I'm ready to take down the final post, and the deck should slowly come down. There we go. Yeah, pretty solid. The next thing I'm going to do is apply the rest of those ties, those Simpson ties, across the way. And then I did buy carriage bolts that I'm going to drive through the knee brace into the two 2x8s, as well as going through the post as well. I'm also going to place another knee brace that goes from this post up into the deck, so you have support, good support on those directions. So we covered pretty much the uplifting force because we did drive it down the bolts of the post down into the concrete. We have the lateral shifting both in this direction, that direction, and obviously I'm going to have the knee brace going that way too, in case someone knocks into it. I don't think it's going to happen, but you can never be too sure. So hopefully this helped out. Thank you. So just for additional information, when you buy these brackets, these Simpson ties, you're going to have the round holes, which you don't see here, but they're round, and basically you're supposed to fill in each hole, okay? Now, you're also going to see the triangle ones, okay? And from what I understand, there are additional support, so, you know, to make it stronger, okay? So you can also use the same screws or nuts that they, like a 10D, 16D, to actually pound it in to give a little bit more support. So although I have these, you know, the screws on the round ones, I'm just going overkill. I will also pound nails into the triangles.